And like, well, do opposites really attract? Well, Charlie Simpson with the Arkansas Relationship Counseling Center is here to explain how to communicate differences within your relationship. I know there are couples that they are opposites, and,
Yes.
and seems like they get along, at least what we see on the outside.
It can be very challenging. Just imagine living with somebody that has different political views or different religious beliefs that you have. Just think about how challenging that can be for a couple. And what our research tells us is that 69% of problems that couples have fall into this perpetual column or gridlocked issue, meaning that they see differences on a particular topic, and it don't just necessarily have to be politics or religion, but it can be just intimacy, differences in it being an introvert, an extrovert.
How you fold the laundry.
Exactly, you know, just those things. But it's really important that couples understand that differences are not bad, but it is a matter of how well you can communicate and stay on track.
So these perpetual problems, basically, we have a difference of opinion.
Right.
We're probably not going to resolve that. So what
Correct.
do we do? Let's just rehash it. Let's just keep going at it.
You got to keep rehashing it. And the perpetual problem, there was a research study done where researchers asked the couple to discuss a perpetual problem or a conflict. They brought that same couple in 3 years later. Guess what they're still talking about?
Yeah.
They brought them in 6 years later, 9 years later, and they're still talking about some sense of that perpetual problem. So it is important to understand how to just be able to have healthy dialogue about it, even show empathy or be able to connect with your partner with those differences. If you don't, there's going to be tense avoidance of the issues. We're going to start sweeping it under the rug. Couples will really start struggling with their perpetual problems to the point where they start shutting down and emotionally disconnecting.
I mean, you can have these perpetual problems and these differences, and can you still make the relationship work, and just knowing that you have this conflict?
Knowing that you have them, knowing what they are, and it's simple. If you keep talking about it over and over and over, chances are it's a perpetual problem. But just simply knowing what they are helps you to be able to say, we're two different people. Now, if we're going to make this work, we have to really learn how to communicate about our differences, and more importantly, not try to change or make your partner become who you want them to be, but be able to accept who they are and their perspectives on the opposite issues.
I guess we just have to learn to accept that they're wrong and that we're right. He's like, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that one right there, but I mean, that is important. Sometimes you have to learn to just be able to say, all right, let's kind of walk away from this conflict and or this conversation, and we'll try to come back to it a little bit later. But if you're struggling with handling perpetual conflicts, you have to have a strong friendship. There's a 1-to-5 ratio, and for every one conflict you have to have 5 positive interactions. And so if you're struggling on a perpetual problem, you have to have an abundance of what we call deposits in the emotional.
They don't equal out evenly.
They don't equal out equally.
Well, it tells me that with the perpetual problems that I have with Suzanne, we've got to really work on our friendship a little bit more, because it's, you know, you don't know how she is.
There you go.
Charlie Simpson, everybody, thanks so much for being here on this holiday of all times too, Charlie.